Raymond Pro. Matt. Matt. One or two, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभा जय गिरवर धारी जय गिरवर धारी जय जय गोपीजन वल्लभा जय गिरवर धारी जय गिरवर धारी जय धारी जय यशोदा नंदना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय यशोदा नंदना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय जय यमुना तिरुवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय यमुना तिरुवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिव सदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare जयो प्रभुपदा जयो प्रभुपदा जयो प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा जयो प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय ओम विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोशत His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai, BBD Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtoshatra, His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Granth-raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, chapter number 11, entitled Jada Bharata instructs King Rahugana. Today's verse is text 15. But it's talking about the mind, how it's creating a problem, but text 16 and 17 also leading to the same context. So we will try to cover the three texts today, and that will finish our chapter 11. Naya yava etantanu brinarendra vidhuya mayam vayunodhayena vimukta sango jitasata saptano vedatma tattvam bhramati hatavat Nayad etan tanubhrinnarendra vidhuya mayam vayunodayena vimukta sango jitashatsa saptano Vedatma tattvam bhramati hatava Nayad etan tanubhrannarendra Vidhuya mayam vayunodayena Vimukta sango jitasat saptano Vedatma tattvam brahmati hatava. Please. Nayadetam tanubhin narendra Viduyamayam vayunodayena Vimukta sango jitasat sapatno Vedatma tattvam brahmati hatavat. Nayadetam tanubhin narendra Viduyamaya vayunodayena Vimukta sango jitasat sapatno Datva tatpram brahmati hatava. Nayadetam tanubhin narendra Viduyamayam Nudotena Vimukta sango jitasat sapatno Vedatma tattvam tat. Word to word meaning? Na, not. Yavat, as long as. Etam, this. Tanubhrit, one who has accepted a material body. Narendra, O king. Viduyamayam, washing away the infection accumulated because of contamination by the material world. Vayuna udayena, by awakening of transcendental knowledge, due to good association and study of the Vedic literatures. Vimukta sangaha, free from all material association. Jita sat saptanaha, conquering the 6 enemies. The 5 knowledge acquiring senses and the mind. Veda knows Atma Tattvam, spiritual truth. Brahmati, he wanders. Iha, in this material world. Tavat, until that time. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. My dear King Rahugana, as long as the conditioned soul accepts the material body and is not freed from the contamination of material enjoyment, and as long as he does not conquer his 6 enemies and come to the platform of self-realization by awakening his spiritual knowledge, he has to wander among different places and different species of life in this material world. Purport. When one's mind is absorbed in the material conception, he thinks that he belongs to a particular nation. family, country, or creed. These are called upadhis, designation. And one has to become freed from them, sarvopadhir vinirmuktam. As long as one is not freed, he has to continue conditioned life in material existence. The human form of life is meant for cleansing away these misconceptions. If this is not done, one has to repeat the cycle of birth and death and thus suffer all material conditions. Text number 16, translation. The soul's designation, the mind, is the cause of all tribulation in the material world. As long as this fact is unknown to the conditioned living entity, he has to accept the miserable condition of the material body and wander within this universe in different positions, because the mind is the affected by disease, lamentation, illusion, attachment, greed, and enmity. It creates bondage and a false sense of intimacy within this material world. Purport of text number 16. The mind is the cause of both material bondage and liberation. The impure mind thinks, I am this body. The pure mind knows that he is not the material body. Therefore, the mind is considered to be the root of all material designation. Until the living entity is aloof from the association and contaminations of this material world, the mind will be absorbed in such material things as birth, death, disease, illusion, attachment, greed, and enmity. In this way, the living entity is conditioned and he suffers material miseries. Text number 17, translation. This uncontrolled mind is the greatest enemy of the living entity. If one neglects it or gives it a chance, it will grow more and more powerful and will become victorious. Although it is not factually, it is a very strong. It covers the constitutional positions of the soul. O King, please try to conquer this mind by the weapon of service to the lotus feet of the spiritual master and of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Do this with great care. Purport of text number 17. There is one easy weapon with which the mind can be conquered: neglect. The mind is always telling us to do this or that. Therefore, we should be very expert in disobeying the mind's order. Gradually, the mind should be trained to obey the orders of the soul. It is not that one should obey the orders of the mind. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that to control the mind, one should beat it with shoes many times, just after awakening and again before going to sleep. In this way, one can control the mind. This is the instruction of all the Shastras. If one does not do so, one is doomed to follow the dictation of the mind. Another bona fide process is to abide strictly by the orders of the spiritual master and engage in the Lord's service. Then the mind will be automatically controlled. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed Srila Rupa Goswami, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. When one receives the seed of devotional service by the mercy of the Guru and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's real life begins. If one abides by the order of the spiritual master, by the grace of Krishna, he is freed from service to the mind. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 5th canto, 11th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Jada Bharata instructs King Rahugana. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deen Bandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute. तप्त कांचन गौरंगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पश्चात् देशातारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधार शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So today we are finishing off this beautiful chapter called Jada Bharat instructs King Rahuguna. In the last 3 verses we just read from this chapter how beautifully indicating and what is the importance of controlling the mind. How this mind is the root cause of all the material problems. An uncontrolled mind is such a greatest enemy. There is no such great enemy than uncontrolled mind. And this is a verdict of all the Vedic scriptures, no matter what it is, Puranas, Upanishads, words of the sadhus, because they all have realized how this uncontrolled mind makes us suffer into 8.4 million species of life. No doubt, the remedy is also there, how you can escape from this. If we take the example of the great devotees of the Lord, such as Arjuna, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna himself saying, Bhumir apo nalor vayu kham manor buddhi evacha ahankara idyam me bhinna prakriti ashtadaha. So these 5 gross material senses and 3 subtle senses, O Arjuna, they are my constituted energy, separated constituted energy, and they are in 8 in number. And one of the energy is mind. One of the energy is mind. And that's who is the owner of that senses, of that energy? Lord himself, because he is claiming it. And if he is the Lord and he is claiming that energy is mind, then he knows how to control it because he is the owner. But falsely thinking to be the owner of this material world and to be the enjoyer and controller of this material world, we are trying to control that energy. Srila Prabhupada gives an example in Bhagavad Gita how the chariot of the Lord, they were saying, it just like a 5 senses, there were 5 horses in the chariot, same as we have got 5 senses gross. And the senses are attached to what? Reins. And the rein is holding by Krishna. And the chariot itself is called a body. And the person who is sitting at the back behind the driver is a soul. So Arjuna is telling all of us and setting an example how he trusted Krishna and how he allowed on the sitting place of intelligence, allow Krishna to sit over there. We have our senses, and senses are controlled by our mind, and mind is controlled by our intelligence, and intelligence is controlled by soul. But we are thinking, no, we can do it. We can control the mind. No, it is not. Because Arjuna himself, he said, Chanchalam hi manha Krishna paramamethi balavad dridham tasyaham nigraham mayo vayur eva sadushkaram. O Keshava, I am that much capable that I can change the direction of the wind, that much power he has, but I am not able to control the mind. It's such a rascal. This mind is so stubborn, so strong, that I'm not able to control. Even I'm able to control the wind. So following in the footsteps of Arjuna, we should allow Lord Krishna to come and sit in our intelligence through his instruction, through his pure devotees. When the intelligence, on the seat of intelligence, if we allow Krishna, Krishna will hold the reins, and that rein is mind. And when the reins he's holding, he's taking the charge of holding the reins in his hand. So the reins are connected to the senses. So he knows how to control the senses, how to control the mind. By following in the footsteps of Arjuna and many other acharya, which they have claimed, please don't use your own intelligence, because we don't have intelligence. Acharyas have said, if you don't have intelligence, borrow the intelligence. Borrow the intelligence from Krishna, from his Vedic scriptures such as Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, or the sages who are following him, pure devotees. Vyavasatmika ekahe kuru nandana, bahu shakahe anantascha buddhayo vyavasai nama. Because those devotees, their purpose is one with the Lord. If the purpose is not with the Lord, is one, then we have many branches. We will jumping like a monkey from one branch to another branch, from one organization to organization, popping up. Because mind is tricking us. Why do you want to listen to the person to whom you have never seen in your life? Why do you want to do? You are capable enough to conquer the whole world. You are so wealthy, you are so handsome, you are so knowledgeable, you are so everything, whatever you name it, of this world. That's how the mind tricks us. And the basic problem, the foundation itself is mind makes us think, yes, we are this body, we are not a spirit soul. That is the basic, that is the ABCD of the spiritual life. That's where the root cause starts is. Any yoga process, you just name it, not even bhakti yoga, ashtanga yoga, jnana yoga, karma yoga, anything, you just name it. All the yogas, all the paths, they have been recommended to control the mind and the senses. Even though in ashtanga yoga, there is a very great importance to control the mind, to control the senses. People say, yes, we are doing meditation, but what are you meditating upon? There are 8 limbs to follow up. There are 8 limbs. First limbs, we have to do this, we don't have to do that. Do and don'ts. 99.9% or the 100% of these Kali Yuga people, they are not able to cross the first step. Shastra says, do this. Shastra says, don't do that. But we hear it, we sit in the satsang, we sit in the class, we read the books, we hear the Vaishnavas. When we go home, we swap it. What is meant to be do, we don't. What is not meant to be done, we do it. And that's where the mind tricks is. You yourself is an acharya. Why do you want to follow another acharya? Make your own way, make your own rules and regulation. Write it down, Peter Vacha. Any name, you just name it. Vacha. In Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 characters are there. Dhritarashtra Vacha, Sanjaya Vacha, yes? Arjuna Vacha, and Krishna Vacha. No, Shri Bhagavan Vacha. It's not the name is there, Krishna Vacha, it's a Bhagavan Vacha. Because Bhagavan is speaking. The mind belongs to him. That's his energy. If that's his energy, he's telling us, informing us, or making us know that if it's my energy, I tell you how to escape from my energy. So why we are not listening to him? Where is the problem? Give you an example. There is a rich man, maybe across the road. He's got house, he's got big cars, he's got many properties, wives, children, everyone is there. And another person comes and they all are, and everything belongs to him. And third person who doesn't have to do with that property, he just comes, he start doing something, start fixing the car, start fixing the house and this and that, and he messed up. He said, I know what to do with. No, but the actual person who is the owner, he knows what to do in the house, he knows what to do with the car. Because that belongs to him. So Krishna, being compassionate, and Srila Prabhupada, he's just giving the example here very beautifully. There is only one thing that you can escape from the trick of the mind, and the trick is following the instruction of the owner, who is the owner of the mind. He's telling, please engage yourself in the service of mine, in the service of my pure devotees. Only by doing that, that is the only remedy. If you will listen to me, there will be no chance that you will listen to the mind. And mind is a matter. And you are a spirit soul. And why do you want and why do you allow a matter to instruct you? You yourself is so powerful. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 2, text number 66, Lord himself is saying to Arjuna, the person who is not connected to the Supreme Lord or to Krishna consciousness, he can have neither an steady intelligence or a steady mind. He's not the sage of a steady mind. And the name he's given, Sthita Pragya Muni. A Sthita Pragya Muni is the one who has controlled his mind in all the situation. Any lamentation come, any fear come, any happiness come, any distress come, anything happens in his life, he just knows it is just a trick of the mind. All the pleasure and distress comes out from the mental concoction. If we are sthir, if we are strong, if we see this problem or this happiness, whatever in my life, is just coming from one end and going to the another end. And there are many more are waiting to come and go. If we will be lamenting and crying for everything, then there will be no time for us to inquire for the spiritual knowledge. Because all the time we think, yes, this problem or this family member or that family member, that job, this country, when it will be taken away from me, there will be nothing else in my life to do it. No, it's not like that. Because life is very temporary. It changes every single second. Every single second. If we are holding to the instruction of the lotus feet of the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, that is the only boat that which can save us. Which can save us. Service is the only thing. Following the instructions of the Lord is the only thing which can make us free from the bondage of this material existence. See here in text number 16 in the purport, it's saying the impure mind thinks I am this body, and the pure mind thinks I am a spirit soul. Can we see, even though we are practicing for so many years, can we claim that our mind is pure? It takes the role of impure and pure. It swifts. It depends how much we are following the order of our spiritual master, how much we are connected to Krishna consciousness deeply. Impure mind. What makes impure mind to do? What he allows you to do actually, the impure mind? The material activities, which has no relation to the Lord. And when those activities has no relation to the Lord, and the minds which are connected to the five senses, the person thinks, I've got my eyes, I've got my ears, I've got my nose, I've got my tongue, I've got my belly, I've got my genital. These are the only purpose of my life, to satisfy them. And being as a human, how many times have we really satisfied those senses? We tried our level best to fulfill them, but are they still happy? They are demanding more and more and more. They are demanding more and more and more. That's why the sages and the Lord has to come and appear. Very beautiful verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says, Maya Mugd Jivere Nahi Sataha Krishna Jnana Jivere Kripa Kaile Krishna Ved Purana. With the material entanglement, this soul, this living entity has been entangled since the time immemorial. He does not know how to come out of these clutches. So being compassionate upon them, Krishna has given this Ved and Purana. That will help us to come out from this darkness of nuisance. Otherwise, there is no other hope here. And that only be fulfilled in the association of the devotees. Otherwise, there are many books are available in the bookshops. We go, we find, we hear, oh, so-and-so author is very popular, so-and-so book has claimed a 2021 Best Book Selling Award. But how much can we learn by our own way? Still, the mind is there. Still, the mind is there. We born in the ignorance, and we want to know everything by our own mind, by our own capability, our own endeavor. It is very, very hard. No, we need a teacher to teach us, a bona fide teacher who himself has learned under the disciplic succession. Otherwise, there is no hope in there. In text number 16 or 17, Srila Prabhupada, how they are saying, how the sages, they falsely claim, not the sages like other yogis, spiritual practitioners, they falsely claim, yes, I am fully renounced. I don't have anything to do with my wife, with my husband, with my job, with money. I'm completely renouncing. Premature renunciation is there. And they goes to the forest. But what Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport, if he goes, he's going along with the 6 wives. His senses. The main enemy you are thinking, if this world is your enemy, in the form of your relatives, your friends, your properties, your job, no. The real enemy that you are not leaving behind in the home, in the city, you are taking him away with you. That is mind. And that's the greatest enemy. He will harm you more because when you are alone, if you are in the association of a devotee, mind has no strength to conquer you. Because the devotees are there to protect you always. But if you think, I'm such an advanced devotee, I can go, I can do my own, and then you can see in the example of Bharat Maharaj, the current pastime, the case study, but we are hearing it. No doubt he was a great devotee. And one of the reasons of his fall down was given because he was not in the association. What happened when he fall down? The mind tricked. You are the proprietor, you are the enjoyer, you are the owner of this poor baby deer. And he is looking at you with lot of compassion to protect him. Oh Bharat Maharaj, you used to be a great emperor of the great world. What is the point if you just give the shelter of this little animal, insignificant animal? Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen to your bhakti, to your consciousness. He's not bothering you. Anyway, you are such a high elevated person. You gave up the whole world. What this deer gonna do to you? But we see how many lifetimes he has to come to that realization, to become Jada Bharata, where he thinks, and no matter whatever happens, because I was thinking I am the protector. No, actually, The Supreme Lord Sri Hari is the actual protector of every living entity. He is protecting me, He is protecting all the living beings, whether they're in the form of human, animals, birds, aquatics, trees, anything. He is the only one who is giving protection to everybody. But we are thinking it's our own strength. In my own biceps, on my muscles, I'm protecting everybody. Arjuna had the same thought at the end of the Mahabharata war. He had the same thought, same realization, and same misconception that only by my own strength I conquered the whole Kuru dynasty. When war finished, Krishna asked him, Arjun, could you please get down from the chariot and stand far away? What's the problem? We can go all together. No. You please get down first and I come later. Okay, as you say, Keshava. Then he went down and he far away and he was watching. As soon as Krishna put his second leg down on the ground, this chariot blasted. And Arjuna was shocked. Whole war has finished, everything, and there is no one to attack on us. How come this chariot got, destroyed like anything? Keshav says, no. I was there to protect you. There were many celestial weapons, many mantras, many arrows were shooted on you from all the directions, all the 10 directions. Up, down, all the directions. But it was me, I was holding them. It was me, I was protecting you. But as soon as war finished, the purpose of the chariot finished, it has to go. And that's why I was just holding them. As soon as you got down, because those celestial weapons has thrown at you, at your chariot, they meant to be work. But I stopped them, I delayed them for a while. So that's where the knowledge comes. That if we really realized we actually whom do we belong to, whom all our senses belong to. What Prabhupada is saying in this 17th verse here, in the translation, Lord is saying, Sarvapadhir vinir muktam tat pratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktir uchyate. Thinking I'm someone's wife, someone's husband, I'm the director of so-and-so company, I'm an American, Indian, Chinese, whatever the designation you want to put on, a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Sannyasi, Brahmachari, give up all those false designations. Even though we need them, those Varna Ashrama in the society to have a proper balance and to do our spiritual life in a proper regulated way, but still don't become puffed up. They all are material designation. They meant to channelize us to go to the spiritual world. Why do we think we are so-and-so person? What is the cause? Why do we think we are so bigger than others? Because mind asks us to do. Mind makes us to think like that. But actually, if that thing has taken away from us, suppose if there is a person, or maybe Prime Minister or President of any of the country, you take him, he's so powerful, yeah? As soon as he's on the position, everybody bows down to him. They follow his instruction. Whatever he rules, he want to give to the whole state, to whole country. Everybody must avoid them. Yeah? But as soon as he comes out of that position, what's his value? Zero. If you take any previous prime ministers, ask them, okay, I want to sanction this and this rule has to be happening in the state. Does it make any sense? Because he's not in the position. When position was there, he did whatever he wanted, but not anymore. In the same way, if you see even in the bhakti also, somewhere I just heard in the lecture very beautifully that if you see ourselves before coming to the Krishna consciousness, our value was zero. Really, our value was completely zero. Whoever our friends, claiming to be our friends, they were only there with us as soon as they have benefited. Any benefit with us, or we have any benefit with them. But as soon as we added Krishna into our life, our value increased. Zero, as Prabhupada says, you are many zeros. If you put one at the front, then there is a value. Then there is a value here. So that's why we need to take the instructions of all these case studies here to make us think that life has many more purposes, and one of the greatest purpose is to come out of this material world. And Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, spiritual master, he has recommended, if your mind is tricking you, what you should do? Beat your mind with the shoes, morning and night, before getting up and going to bed. And someone says, how can I beat my mind? People think, how can I beat my mind with the shoes? I tried. They're saying 1,000 times, I did 1,500. But still it's not working, No, those shoes are considered as the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. When we wake up, we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that is a hunting to the mind. Mind is like a wild animal, like a ferocious animal. Those who wants to eat us, destroy us. So use this hunter to make that wild animal down. Get down, get down. And in the night also. Before going to bed, beat the mind with the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And morning, get up. That's why Srila Prabhupada, as many acharyas, has given us the daily morning program. Mind tricks you. You're so tired. You did so much service yesterday. No, you deserve to be honored. You deserve to be asleep. What will happen? If you don't wake up one day in the morning program, nothing will happen. Still you are elevated devotee. You have done so much service to the Lord. Wake up. No, that's where Maya needs a slight crack. It's just like a water. Water needs a slight crack just to go through with it. And when it goes, it can split apart. It can split apart. That's why we have to be very, very careful. No matter what happens, should not give a leniency to the mind. Always hold it tightly. Hold it tightly. Lord said, maybe in Bhagavad Gita 3, chapter 3 or 4, he was saying, Arjuna asked him, how long should I control the mind? The way you are saying, certainly I will do it, but oh my Lord, how long do I have to control the mind? Hold it. You know what Lord says? Till the last breath of your life. Never ever give any small lollipop to the mind. Or mind gives us the lollipop. You're so much. Little bit you can do like this. You'll be okay. No, that's what Maya needs. Tricking. Okay, I'll stop here and see if is there have any questions, corrections, comments. Yes, Prabhu. Mic to him. No battery? Yeah, you can speak like that. I can repeat the question.
You're speaking a lot about the mind and should never give any chance to mind.
Give any chance to mind? Yeah.
But at the same time, Prabhupada said it should be independently thoughtful.
Independently thoughtful, yes. And that independently must be aligned to the instructions of the Lord. Transcendental independent, transcendental intelligence we are individual. But that individually thinking to putting the eyes of the Shastra on your face and then think independently. In that sense. Yeah. Because if your service, if your thinking or your plan is to spread the message of the Lord independently, that's pretty good. Because there are 100 ways to spread the Lord message to all over the world. There are 100 ways, 1,000 ways. Because Lord Himself is unlimited. His services are unlimited, and to spread the message, what He's saying to the whole world is also unlimited way. So if that is aligned with the Shastra, with the instructions of the Guru, with the blessings of the Vaishnava, then it will fructify. Yes, brother. Because the human birth is the only birth where allows you to go back to Godhead in majority. In majority. No doubt, Maharaj Bharat, when he fall down at the end while thinking, remembering of his dear pet deer. But when he became deer, it was a blessing of the Lord that he was remembering about Krishna. So there are many lessons are there that Prabhupada gives. One of the lesson of this pastime that doesn't matter whichever higher position you are in, you must be careful at all the time. Don't think you are so highly elevated. He was thinking himself, but he fall down. So it's a teaching to all of us. We should not be leniency in our devotional service, and we have to be very strict, especially with the mind, to control it. Otherwise, we can fall down. If this case would not happen, then how are we going to take the lessons from Srimad Bhagavatam? So he got a chance again as a human birth, which he became Jada Bharata, and from that birth, he went back to Godhead. So there are many lessons to learn from this pastime here. First, we should not be very lenient in our devotional life and follow the instructions of the spiritual master and the Lord very, very strictly. Okay. Happy. Anybody else? Yes, Prabhu.
You said human life is the only way by which we can go back to Godhead.
Yes.
What about Gajendra? He's able to go, he left his body and then he's able to go back.
Yeah, Prabhu, there are many cases there that human form life, even though if you read in Canto 3, somewhere in chapter 15, where the demigods are praying to the Lord, please allow us to take birth in the human form, which is the fastest way to go back to Godhead. Because here we are stuck with the sense enjoyment, we are hardly able to think. The demigods himself are praying to the Lord, please give us a birth on the planet as a human, so we can execute the devotional service very perfectly there. More easier to do here. But that does not be the exception, breach the contempts. There are many cases beautifully that teach us that in Kerala, Guruvayur temple, Keshwan, this elephant, he was also there, devotee of the Lord. And if you read many other stories by the devotees, we can see there was a cow in Malaysia, wherever there is a Srimad Bhagavatam happen, she comes and sits over there. So these are special cases. For somehow or other, they have been fallen. If you see the king, that elephant Gajendra, in his previous life, what he was? King Indradumna, such a pious person. But for some small mistaken, he took the birth of the Gajendra. But don't forget, at the end of the life, how does he remember that all the prayers what he was praying to the Vishnu? That was the blessings of the Lord. That means, Srila Prabhupada writes in those pastimes that even though a living entity can forget the Lord, but Lord does not forget him. He always gives him the intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Krishna gives you the intelligence to worship him, to come to him. We may forget him, or we have forgotten all the lifetimes, but Krishna has not forgotten us. So somehow or other, he sends his devotee, he comes himself, or whichever may he make an arrangement for us so we can come back to our actual dham. Yeah, exceptions are there, but not everybody do it. But the lessons are there, teachings are there. So they encourages us, enthusiasm us to pursue in our devotional service very, very nicely. Okay, thank you very much. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.